So here we are. We are live, and I want to introduce my special guest today. And we are came here live to talk about leadership talks. And what I feel is that the person that came in my mind is Jan Robert, who I know from since 2 years back when I talk him on the topic self leadership. I'm so privileged that I came to know the leadership is a topic that I really like to talk about and want to explore and want to learn by myself. So I'm so happy that he is in my circle, and when he is so kind, whenever I ask him or even Aarti to talk about something or to go for them for help or ask for anything, they were there. I am so privileged to have them as my friends. Thank you so much, Jan. You came here and you joined me, and you are here to talk about. So I want to know about you initially, little bit, and then we will talk about our topic.
Okay. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me. It's always a pleasure and a privilege to do so, and that you entrust me with your audience. And my name is Jan Roberts. I'm originally from the Netherlands. We emigrated to Scotland many years ago, and at the moment, I am for the last 5 years. I've been most of the time in South Africa. And we have me and my partner Arthi, who Rabia also mentioned. We've started a leadership institute together called Key Leadership Institute, and with that we provide all kinds of leadership solutions, communication, team building, coaching, speaking, training, youth development, and also values-based leadership. And that covers all kinds of things, like from an hour coaching to a half day or 3 day workshop, masterminds, even ongoing programs. And the values-based leadership is our flagship program where we work with basic human values, which is very important. That's it.
That's great. That's great. And I was just recalling your story that you have told me about how you started to be in the coaching business. And I want to ask, like, why you choose John Maxwell do you have initially interest in leadership, or what makes you to choose leadership topic that you
Okay,
have to work on that?
that's a good question. Now, ever since I was 17, which is a few years ago, I started personal development. I was bullied as a little kid, and I came into personal development, and I done a few things. And in my work, which before we started a leadership institute, I um, I started. I spent many months of the year in hotel rooms. So I did a lot of studying and development of myself, and I did coaching in 2009 for 2 years. And I was always interested in developing people as well. And 2012, 2012, we came into somebody who invited me into the John Maxwell mastermind group. And then she said to me, "There is the John Maxwell team had just started." So I thought, okay, that was in 2011. So I found out more about it. She sent me some videos about John Maxwell. Now, anybody who doesn't know John Maxwell, he's the number one leadership expert in the world. Has written over 120 books about it. Has grown leadership around the world. And in 2011, the John Maxwell team started, where we trained um, where we now have got more than 33,000 coaches, trainers, and speakers around the world in only 9 years, which is phenomenal. It's the biggest leadership certification training. And as I got more involved in the leadership side of things, I thought it's amazing, and it's so necessary. And leadership is people always think that leadership is for them, but we're all leaders. And we all lead somewhere, whether we lead in our families, whether we lead in our schools, whether in our communities or in companies or indeed a country. We're all leaders. So self leadership, as we mentioned, we had a discussion about before, is very important, because I firmly believe that if you can't give what you haven't got. It's a strange saying, but it means that if you don't know yourself and you can't even lead yourself, don't expect to lead others confidently and competently. And that's why self leadership and leadership go together. And that's why I love the whole leadership thing, to engage with people like Rabia, who's phenomenal in all she does. And that's why I'm so happy to be here. And also with people who want to develop their leadership, we do mastermind groups, we do all kinds of things. But it's very important, I think.
Sure, I'm happy to know your story. Okay, tell me, like, that's why you choose it 17 years ago. And it's not easy to make a company and then grow it and then make it, do it sustainable way. And the things that I know about you is also that you also give trainings to the different parts of the Africa and other parts where the John Maxwell team go, or the where the assignments they give you. So how you form your company and how you form your courses, I want to know more about it. So people who want to develop the same kind of companies, they can learn from you. And I am also one of them. So I have also interest, like I want to know that how you people proceed, although the processes are different, but I want to know the procedure that you followed.
Mm. Yes, well, I mean, the procedure I followed was maybe not the best example to follow, but a lot is learned from there because when people, there's a lot of people who want to become start their own business and become entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurship is a subject all by itself. You know because all of a sudden we haven't worked for a boss for many years, and now you wake up in the morning and the boss is standing in front of the mirror. You know, you're responsible for all you do at first. So it's very interesting. And for me, it took a while actually to get from an employee side to a more entrepreneurial business side. And leadership is a big part of it because leadership is all about. There's fancy titles like authentic leaders, transformational leaders, all this kind of leadership. But in the end, leadership comes down to the one thing: the great leaders are those who build the best relationships. And if you look at anything in business, you need to build relationships. If you can't build relationships, you're dead in the water. And you know, sales is all about relationships. Coaching is all about relationships. Speaking is all about relationships. And of course, leadership is also all about relationships because um, of course, we started. I met Arthi at leadership training in Orlando, in America, and we talked about different things, and we decided, okay, we want to start an organization together in South Africa, and that is now grown to we have in the UK as well, and we go globally. But I mean, it's very important that starting something is one thing, but it takes it's not going to happen overnight. It takes perseverance, it takes consistency, it takes dedication, and it also takes something in here that you have to have. And if you haven't got it, you better find it soon because if you haven't got that passion, that drive for making a difference in other people's lives or whatever kind of organization. But here we're talking about leadership, and leadership is all about uh, impacting leaders in a positive way. So we need to make sure that we actually learn how to do that first and foremost before because it's fine to teach it, but we need to walk the walk as well. So for me that has been a wonderful journey, and I love personal development as well. But personal development, entrepreneurship, communication, team building, all these kind of areas come into becoming a better leader. And uh, I mean, I use John Maxwell materials in a lot of our trainings as well. We create training programs because not one training program suits everybody. So we find out what the needs are, and then if we haven't got it, we'll create a program because we've got plenty of materials to take from and plenty of experience. Now, I would say to people is, find out what you're really passionate about and find out what you really want to do. But when you do that, you better wake up and say, hold on a minute, I need to make sure that I really want to do this and I want to succeed because everybody says, oh, entrepreneurship is where it's going to be at. And from entrepreneurship, big business has grown. And we know all the Bill Gates and the Sir Richard Branson and all these kind of wonderful people who started very small and have grown huge global organizations. We don't need to go global, but whether you grow a global organization or whether you grow a local organization, the principles basically are very similar to start off with. And you need to learn about communication. You need to connect with people. You need to go out there and take no's and take the failures. We need to fail forward as people. We're afraid to fail because of what we've been told as kids. It's wrong to fail, it's wrong to make mistakes. So we need to make sure that we actually make mistakes and fail forward. And how do you do that is to learn from those mistakes and use them as experience so you can move forward better prepared for your next one. Edison, somebody says 1,000, somebody say 10,000, but he's made many failures before he actually came to the light bulb. If he had said after about 5, I don't think it's going to happen, we'd be sitting in the dark. Now I know there'd be a lot of other problems we would have because he developed a lot of other things, but it takes and leadership really comes out now. We're as if anybody doesn't know yet, we're in a global crisis. Leadership is coming to the fore right now because great leaders in times of crisis become visible. They stand up and step up. And it's the same in your business. If you have a crisis in your business, and it's totally different than the global crisis, but if you have a crisis in your business because you have to send people home and you have to, all of a sudden, where is my next paycheck coming from? Where is my next income coming from? And there's a lot of struggles like that throughout the world. So how can we actually connect better together? It takes leadership. We need to actually lead ourselves into this and through this. And I always say, my question for you is any crisis, whether you start an entrepreneurial business, whether you start off, are you going to go through that process or are you going to grow through that process? And great leaders grow through the process. And how do you do that? Good leaders ask great questions. It's a book by John Maxwell, but what it really talks about is coaching. You need to be coachable. You need to find mentors who can help you. Find people who've done what you want to do. And the amazing thing is, successful people if they have the opportunity, they will help you. They will encourage you. But you also need to ask questions. And what kind of questions? Ask open-ended questions. So you can learn from people, not just questions. And open-ended questions are questions like who, what, where, when, how, and what. Because to them, you can't say yes or no. You need to actually, that starts conversations. And the second thing the first thing a leader really needs to do is listen. A leader needs to not talk, but listen, because the wisdom comes to him from other people, and people connect with you when you listen to them. And how do you listen to them? Again, ask better questions. So there you've got a whole, in a very short period of time, a lot of information about this. But I think if you are starting out, start doing your due diligence, find out if there is a market for you, and if there's a possibility for you, and what opportunities are there, and then go and do a little bit of research. Don't try to get perfect first. Done is better than perfect. That means get going and make some mistakes, and reflect on those mistakes every time you do. Every day you should reflect at the end of the day, and then at the end of the day, reflect. What did I do right? What could I have done better? And how do we go forward from here? And then the next day, implement that. And that's about in the short period of time what I can add to it. And I see we've lost. Okay, then while Rabia is, oh, you're coming back.
Yes, it's okay. I just you were talking about like how we ask big questions. Then it will lead us to the if we ask them, they will explain us more in a more better way, and we are ready to learn. This is what I understand yet. Like I want to ask, when you started your leadership company, in which year you feel that you have to start, you have developed your program? Because before I asked Aarti come and join the training session that I'm intended to give there, then she sent me everything everything related to you are doing your websites and the material. Then I read all the material, so I get to know more about that. My intention was absolutely this is that like I hope that I can able to invite you here as well. So this is my intention, future intentions, and I hope that initially we have to start from somewhere, and I want to know your point when you decided that you should start here. Now your company is like you said that is global, and you're also training team as well. So when you start your company,
yeah, the company started in 2015. So 5 years ago.
2015.
And you know, for me, yeah, and that was always something that, you know, I'd said for a long time. I knew for a long time that I needed to do something more than what I was doing. I never hated my job, but when we came back from Guatemala, where we trained 19,000 leaders in 2013, for me it was a done deal, because I said to myself, if not now, then when? See, the
Hmm.
problem with many people is they want to do things for themselves. They want to become leaders. So we see all these big people, and they, whatever
Hmm.
that looks like for them. But are they willing to do what they've done? Are they willing to go where they've gone, and have the struggles they've had? Because it it might be simple, but it's not easy. And uh, initially, I was actually amazed how easy the decision was. But I mean, I'd made a decision a long time ago. Over time, all of a sudden, it was simple. If not now, then when? And I stopped making excuses for myself that I needed to do this, I needed to do that, and maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow, it doesn't come. So, you know, what are we going to do today? So, you know, when people are listening and they say, you know, can I become a good leader? Can I lead a company? Can I become a great entrepreneur? Of course you can. But do you want to do what it takes? And that's where leadership comes in, because, you know, am I gonna lead by pushing people forward, and you go and do this? You gotta Delegation is a different way, but you need to always look at yourself. A leader looks at themselves first. Am I willing to do what I ask other people to do? Am I, first of all, before you've got other people, am I willing to do whatever it takes? So you need to have a kind of structure, a plan, a vision for what you want to do. See, our vision is to impact millions of lives around the world. Now that takes a plan, and that takes a lot of time. At the beginning, we had programs from the John Maxwell team and some other ones, but slowly but surely, as there was more request and requirement, we started developing different kind of programs. You know, like 3-day leadership retreats for executive teams, where we take them away for 3 days and give them all kinds of training. And even that program is not set in stone. We see what kind of leadership team is this, what do they need, and we'll just mix and match and change. So we need to be flexible, even more so at this time of crisis. We need to be flexible, but we need to make sure that as leaders, and this is the big thing, people always think, I've seen leaders who give orders, and those are bosses. That's not leaders. As leaders, you need to learn to love people, and care for people, and show them that you care. Because if you cannot do that, learn fast and learn along the way too. Because people are in any organization. You might start off on your own as an entrepreneur, but in any organization, people are your biggest asset. And if you treat them right, they will treat you right. If not, you need to learn quickly, because otherwise you won't have uh, a company. Don't get me wrong, there is some bosses who are very harsh and very hard, and they work under the fear banner, but fear uh, is not where people get hope. You need to give them hope for a better future, hope, show them that you're interested in, and lead them all the way there, and, you know, walk with them, don't push them, because that's how you get the most out of people. I mean, you know yourself, and I think anybody knows, if somebody tells you to do something, and if you don't do this, then there'll be consequences. It doesn't work very well. How can you get the best out of people? Connect with them from the heart.
Yes, I agree. I completely agree with you. If we connect with the people with the heart, then it will be easy. Because when we trust people, then I think the things will come up in a good way. Okay, I understand that you started 2015, and then eventually the things grow, and you designed it, and now you are. And tell me that how much people, and why you decided to work in South Africa if you are originally born and you're Netherlands.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't really know. I all of a sudden, in 2014, I went to leadership training in America. I normally go there every year. I used to go twice a year, but now I've reduced it to once, to work with the John Maxwell team, where I'm also an executive director in the team and a president's advisory council member. And I went there in 2014 in August. When I said in 2013 I quit my job, I fired my boss, but I was a project manager by then, so I needed to finish projects until 2014. So I kind of walked away the last days of May in 2014. So when I went to leadership training in America, in Orlando, international Maxwell certification, excuse me, I went there with the aim of looking for somebody in Africa I could partner or collaborate with. Don't ask me why this came to me somewhere, and there I met Arti. And as you know, the rest is history. But I mean, that's how it happened. I didn't set out that I wanted to desperately work in Africa. No, and I don't see it as, oh, there's so many poor people in Africa. We need to. No, I mean, it was just uh, part of the thing was in especially in the UK, there was soft skills are still, especially in the north of the UK, it's still not the high priority on this. And I love to work with people who are hungry. Les Brown always says you've got to be hungry, and I love people who are hungry, who want to learn and who want to change and impact people, and that way we can play it forward. And there is a lot of people in our countries, because I'm also working a lot with a lot more in the near future as well in Pakistan, with Pakistani people, and that's exciting for me too, because I know there's also a lot of hungry people there, and I'm not just mean hungry food-wise, but hungry for knowledge. They want to know more, they want to do more, and therefore we need the skills and the tools. We need to provide them with that, especially our youth nowadays. I know 60% of Pakistan is youth, and to actually impact them in a positive way, we need to provide them with the skills and the tools for them to become the leaders we want to see today, and we want them tomorrow. So if we don't help them today, what's going to happen tomorrow? Who knows? So we need to make sure that we reach as many youth as possible, given the skills, the tools. Even though technology is changing more and more. I looked at LinkedIn did a survey. I'll tell you about this. LinkedIn did a survey not so long ago, and I said this a long time ago, and over in 18 countries, 7,000 people nearly. I put an article on LinkedIn as well about that, but they've asked what are the most important skills that they feel people need. The first one was leadership skills. The second one was creativity, and the third one was communication. Now they go hand in hand, because leadership skill, if you bring out the right questions, you get the right creativity. If you communicate right, so those three were in the 40 to 55% mark. And if you looked at cloud computing and those kind of things, they were 8%. So they were right at the bottom. And they said, well, soft skills are so much more needed at this point, because technology changes so fast. You can teach that. But if you get people to develop their soft skills, that's where it touches people. The mechanicals of technical skills, very important, but today is going to look totally different than in a year's time with technology, what we use and all the stuff. You look just 2, 3, 4 years back, what has changed dramatically. But it says the leadership skills and the communication skills and the creativity skills will always be needed, and that's why they're so important. And that's why I think a lot of organizations miss out. A lot of youth, they want to become IT professionals and all that kind of stuff. But if you want to be just working for a boss, great. But if you want to start running your own company, or even transporting it and exporting it to abroad, you need leadership skills, because it takes management and leadership to a different level when you really want to expand, because you need to work with people.
Oh, yes, completely agree with you. And okay, and we are welcome. Like I just saw that you have designed a course for the Pakistani youth, and I want to know more about it. Like we will also specifically, it will be on the 6th April. Tell me more about it.
Pardon? Which one?
Your leadership course that you designed. It will be held on 6th April.
I'm not sure which one you're talking about.
The course
Yes. Yes. I've actually what I'm doing is I'm doing a mastermind group, and I can do several. And this mastermind group is actually based on leadership in crisis. Leaders, how to lead. It's called actually leading through crisis, and that's very important, because we're in an uncharted territory at the moment. And we need to. And what happens in a mastermind is it's basically a group of people, maybe 6 to 10 people, maybe 12, who get together for 90 minutes a week for 5 weeks, and we provide information, and then we ask questions. So in a mastermind, the idea is that there is discussions going on within the mastermind group with each other, where they can bounce things off each other, learn from each other, and learn with each other, without me needing to lead him. I just ask the questions and provide him with some wonderful information. So it's going to be amazing, and it's at this time more important than ever, because we are in a worldwide crisis, and there's a lot of people who need again extra skills, extra tips, extra tools, extra knowledge, so they can lead better, not only through this but also into the future when this is over. And that's why this is very important, that we actually have such masterminds starting. So it's about groups coming together, and not just me talking like today, which I can give you all kinds of knowledge, but I think it's also more important that discussions start to take place amongst people, and learn from each other, because everybody has got something to bring to the table. So, and that's very important, I think. And of course, I see you falling away, but of course, from that as well, it is very important. And we're going to do this. We're starting a new mastermind groups. We're having a few, but I mean this particular mastermind is on leading through crisis. We're going to start another one on the 15 invaluable laws of growth, which is basically personal development, which is also hugely important at any time, but especially this: how can we develop ourselves? And also we're going to virtual roundtables, which are phenomenal as the foundation of leadership. I don't know if I'm still live or you're still live, but I'll wait till you come back. Maybe you've got some challenges. But if we're still live and I see the clock still ticking, yeah, values is another thing. It's very important to be involved with basic human values. There is 47 of them at the moment. Artie just wrote another one about compassion, and which is also very, very important. And we need to get back to the values as the foundation of any leadership. We can talk about leadership as much as we like, and I think too we have a values-based leadership program. It's called values-based leadership, but we've renamed it Sustainable Personal Development, because that's exactly what it is. If we can sit around the table and start communicating, whether it's virtual roundtables at the moment or later on physically, and maybe in the home we can do it physically with our families, but if we can take a value every day or every week and discuss the value, each one of us understanding the same value, working with the same value, and implementing the same value, whether it's listening, connection, attitude, restraint, forgiveness, self-esteem, developing people, listening. There is a huge list of them, but do we really know what they mean? And if we do we really know how to get better and develop in our personal values? What are your personal values? What are the 5 values that are most important to you? When you know that, how well do you know? How well are you using them? And how well do you know how to improve yourself in them? And that includes all of us. It doesn't matter what you would score yourself, for example, in the value of listening today or connecting. How well are you connecting with others in this crisis at the moment using technology or other means? But what is really important is how well are you doing that right now? If you scored yourself from 1 to 10, and my question is, do you want to get better at this? And then most of you will ask, yes, of course, but how do I do that? And that's what this values-based leadership does. It takes a value. You become a facilitator in this process. You sit around the table with others in your small group, whether it's online, and it could be 4 to 5 of you, or even up to 8 to 10, but 4 to 5, maybe half an hour, and you could sit around the table. It doesn't matter where in the country or in the world you are, but you could sit around the table, go through this value, what it is, what the benefits are of being a good listener, in the value of listening, for example, characteristics of somebody who's a good listener, and also steps to follow to become a better listener. And what happens after that, you go and self-evaluation. and then share that with others so you have an accountability, and also set yourself a small goal to become a better listener in the next week. And then every week we take another value. It's phenomenal. It will completely change you, and and in the most positive way. And this is something that we're busy with. I see Rabia is coming back now. Yes.
Yes.
I just kept talking while you were away. I didn't know if we were still recording, but I thought I'll talk a little bit about the mastermind, and
Yes.
I'll talk a bit about values as well. So
Okay, it was recording. Actually, just my internet as today is like little bit disturbing, but it's okay. Okay, we were there. That what kind of courses you are, as you have intention to work with the Pakistani people. So as you are connected to a lot of people, and you know that what could be the need that can you tailored in your program and give to our audience, and it will be a benefit for them. So do you design any course for that reason, or intended to design?
no, we certainly can once we as we they get to understand the people more and more, and of course even from different community to community that changes. But the great thing about values-based leadership, as I said, I've been to Guatemala, to Paraguay, we've been to Costa Rica. I didn't go there. We went to Ireland. We're doing this in Swaziland, in South Africa. This is one course, one of the very few courses that actually is for everybody and any age, as long as people can read. As I say, we've got 10-year-old kids who became facilitators in this process, and sometimes better than the adults. But as long as you can read, you can become a facilitator in this process and guide people through this process. And what's wonderful about the values-based leadership program is it is actually, I already said, sustainable personal development, and that's where leadership comes out, because it is not just about the values, it's about connecting with people. And as I said already, we're coming back to leadership. Leadership is how you connect with people, how you build relationships. This process builds relationships. This process communicates, makes you communicate with each other rather than being on the phone all the time, or on the laptop. This gets you to learn more about other people and understand other people, whether you are male, female, different race, different religion, different age. It doesn't matter anymore. We get to learn about people, and that's what you need as a leader. And that's why this is so important, and it has a huge impact everywhere this goes. I mean, there is now in that particular process, there is, I think, nearly 30 countries and their presidents are asking for this program to come to their country, because they've seen what's happening in Guatemala, they see what's happening in Paraguay, they see what's the positive stuff that's happening in Costa Rica. And I've seen as well how Ireland is taking this on board. And at the moment, because they've also got lockdown, they've gone virtual. I spoke to somebody yesterday. They said we do roundtables at half an hour at a time. We do them all day long, every day, with groups that are coming from everywhere, because people feel the need to be connected at this, especially at this time. People feel the need to actually know that they matter, and people feel the need to contribute meaningfully to each other. And that is the wonderful thing that's coming out of this crisis. We're getting back to the human touch, and that is what leadership does. But that's, if everybody's a leader, we're all starting to do this, and that's going to be very, very good for the future.
Okay, that's fine. And before I go to my last question, I just want to ask how much program you offered from your company to the people, like 2 or 3 or 4, the one you described,
We
and the
have many.
others.
We Yeah, we have so many. I mean, we always look for what is it that the people need, and what is it that they need, and we tailor programs. And as I said, we have anything from individual coaching. We coach, we mentor people. We do speaking engagements. We do workshops from anything from a couple of hours to 3 days. We have year-long programs that people get into for leadership. We have masterminds. We've got dozens of masterminds on different programs. The values-based leadership program, youth development. There is a lot of youth development programs as well. So we have an awful lot of programs. But I mean, we normally listen. What is it you need, and how can we best add value to you? Because that's what is needed. Not just, okay, here's a program, we're going to do this. And that's why I think leadership, leading through crisis at the moment, is so not popular, so necessary, because there is a lot of people at the moment that are stuck. And then we do self development programs and mind power programs, but those are extra at the moment. And if people want, do you have a program for this? Yes. If we haven't got it, we'll create it. We've got time to create those kind of programs, and we bring them online. So, but these are the values-based leadership, and some masterminds are great because they both generate discussions, and discussions generate creativity, and asking open and learning to ask open-ended questions and learning to listen to each other, which again is something that I talked about earlier on. So very important.
Okay, got your point. And as I just want to, like, we should go to conclusion. And before conclusion, I just want to say that, Jan, as I told you, that my next intention is that I will call a panelist who belong to, whether they are Pakistani or whether they are other country, who belong to the leadership. I will invite them in. Probably I will do that live video from my profile, because this was my first experience, and I didn't feel that there are more interaction there. So I thought that because I was doing it from my profile, we'll have more valuable questions from the audience. So I want to invite you earlier, before this happening. You should give little bit time for like just 20 to 30 minutes for that.
Yeah.
Okay. And
let me know when, so we can get a time together. Because very shortly I'm going to be on another call to with the SDGs in Pakistan, of course. That starts very shortly too. So yes, let me know, and I'm very glad
we'll define
to add value.
Okay, fine. So, what will be your last message to the people who want to start some new enterprise regarding training, or even their businesses as well? So, what are the basic things, if you want to conclude them? That
Yeah. Okay. For that, if you're talking about entrepreneurship initially, before, and yes, you need to lead yourself. So I would always say, if you're going to invest, don't see it as spending money. Invest in yourself. You need to develop yourself, because being an entrepreneur is totally different from being an employee. It's totally different from where you've been, and we don't yet teach these skills enough or at all in most schooling systems. So when you're going to do this, get some guidance, get the right information, look for some mentors if you can have them, but don't wait. I mean, we can wait until everything's perfect. It's never going to happen. I've done this before myself, so I can speak from personal experience. Don't wait. Go out there and make some mistakes. Make sure you don't invest everything in those first mistakes, but learn from others. Look at examples of what you want to do and learn from those people, and find out what they've done and what worked for them and what didn't work. But in the meantime, keep your personal development high, because that is what's going to bring you through some of these challenges. And you might get down sometimes, but I mean, it's also do something, not because it's just money in it, which is great, but also because you want to do it.
Okay, thank you so much, Dan, for such a valuable input from your side, and hope to collaborate with you, inshallah, in future. And so much respect, and God bless you so much.
Thank you very much, and it was a pleasure, and we'll talk soon.
Bye-bye. Okay, so I just want to end my live video, this live video, and we'll talk about, as I told you, that I will talk in the panel discussion, and I will bring some valuable guests. Obviously, my first guest will be the Jan Roberts from South Africa, and the other will be from my country, and other who want to join me to talk about leadership talks. So stay tuned and give your suggestion. If you watch it in replay, just leave the suggestion that how we can add value in your lives, and ask the question from our guests. Thank you so much. Pakistan Zindabad.